Hey everyone, it is Saturday, September 30th. The time is 12:56 p.m. and the temperature right now is around 22 degrees Celsius. And this here is Dundas Street West, and that's the intersection of Dundas and Bay just ahead there. And that would be a 505 Dundas streetcar. And for this one, I think I'm going to turn around at the intersection here and walk east over to Dundas Square, where there is a Latin Canadian festival taking place. Then I'll make my way down to St. James Park and over to Berczy Park. And probably finish up at a subway station. And just on the right is the Eaton Center. I was thinking of recording this one with the iPhone today, but instead I'm going with the trusty DJI Pocket. And on the right, well, was a Best Buy I just walked past. And that was my reason for being in this area to begin with. I had to pick something up. And pretty soon, the Blue Jays will be starting their second game of the series versus the Tampa Bay Rays. And if they win today, they'll be locking up a playoff spot. There's looking to Joey. And even if they lose, as long as Seattle loses, they'll also get a playoff spot, or they'll get one still. And the same will go for tomorrow. There's also a scenario where Houston can lose out. Oh, and it looks like there's a parade just up ahead here. That's the Latin Fall Fiesta, which runs from noon till 8 p.m. And that celebrates Latino Hispanic Canadians. Oh, it's a parade. Okay, I see. Let's try to get around to the front end of it here. Well, since we're in the square, might as well take a look around. I was not expecting that mini parade to roll by. I think I'm officially festivaled out. I said I wasn't going to cover as many this year, but I think I ended up doing more street festivals than I did last year. Looks like there'll be an event at the main stage coming up. I imagine they'll be doing a lot of posing. This seems to be the end point of the parade. That's definitely going to block traffic along Dundas for quite a while. Sucks to be on a streetcar coming through there around now, but it's all in good fun, I guess. So this is south on Yonge. So there might be a bit of a celebration tonight in this area if the Jays get into the playoffs. This is definitely a city starved for success for our professional sports teams. We haven't had a whole lot of it. The Argos recently won a championship. And of course the Raptors won theirs, but the Maple Leafs are a perennial disappointment. The Blue Jays had a couple of really good playoff runs that ended in disappointment not too long ago. There's a decent crowd on Yonge, but I seem to be walking directly into a sun glare. So let's turn along Shooter here. There's Massey Hall, a large performance venue that received a very expensive renovation that conveniently was timed with closing down during the pandemic. On the left is Franz. Their iconic location is up on College Street. this is Victoria Street. And tomorrow is a day I've been dreading for about a week since I promised I would do it, but I will be using the iPhone 15 Pro as my daily phone for a month. I might post some updates on that experience over on the Stumbles channel, but I've been an Android user ever since the early days, going back to the Galaxy S1. There's a construction site here. There's St. Michael's Catholic Cathedral Basilica. Looks like there's a service or event taking place there. I'll turn right here at Church Street, and we'll head down to St. James Cathedral, where St. James Park is. Which is the church where Church Street takes its name from. And it's got a really interesting history. And that sign there says we're in the Garden District. The Garden District is bound by Yonge Street to the west of here, Queen to the south, Sherburne to the east, and Carlton to the north, and it's named after the Allen Gardens. And there's another church, and I think that church owns this parking lot. It's only a matter of time before that gets redeveloped. There's the Jazz condo. That one I think appeared in the early 2000s. It was one of the first in this big condo boom. I don't know if it's worth pointing out or not, but this is the first video I've recorded while wearing some new footwear. These are the Ultra Lone Peak 7s in wide. They've got a nice foot-shaped toe box, and they're zero drop, so the heel and the toe are at the same height. They're not barefoot shoes. There's a bit too much cushioning for that. But so far, so good. They're actually a bit more at home on softer surfaces like this than on paved surfaces. I'm not intending on them being my everyday shoes. at Queen Street. And those platforms are sticking out quite a ways over that condo. I'm assuming that's temporary. And this is Richmond Street East. You might have noticed the east side of downtown is generally a bit quieter than the west side. And just over there on the left is St. James Cathedral. Which was established back in 1797. And you know what? I see a street here, Lombard Street, that I don't think I've ever recorded on this channel. So I'm kind of tempted just to cross the street and do just that. Lombard does continue over to Victoria Street. You can hear those church bells going at St. James. It is 1:15. There's plans for a 59-story tower for this lot. Combination of residences, office space, and retail space. I imagine they'll have to incorporate the facade of this building. 86 Lombard Street. That's got to have heritage status. There's another development notice on this one. A 43-story building. So if you're wondering when this construction will ever end, the answer is it won't. As soon as these current projects start wrapping up, I'm sure excavation will be underway on a lot of these other sites. That's the College of Makeup, Art, and Design. If you asked me before this video where that was, I could not have told you. made it to Jarvis Street. And just in time to miss the light cycle, there's St. James Park, which I'll be cutting through. So the cathedral over on the other end of the park is actually the third one in its spot. Well, it was originally a church. But the church was established in 1797, and the first wood church was built a few years later on that site, and it was later used as a hospital during the War of 1812. And it was replaced by a stone church. I don't know if it was replaced or upgraded into a stone church, but that burnt down in 1839, and 10 years later that church burnt down in 1849. And now the current structure is in its place. That's where the funerals for Ted Rogers and Rob Ford were held. A couple of well-known names in these parts.
Next baby, I love.
This park is definitely a gem. And in the spring, there's rather spectacular tulip gardens. I guess they still are tulip gardens, but when they bloom, it makes for a really neat sight. And this is the St. Lawrence neighborhood. And this is kind of where the financial district used to be back in the 1800s. That big fire, I think in 1849 or around there, ravaged it and took out the original cathedral, or I guess the second cathedral. I went through there as part of Doors Open Toronto a few years ago, so there is a video on this channel of what it's like in the cathedral. It's probably the most recognizable and iconic church in the city. Maybe only rivaled by St. Andrew. And this is South on Church once more.
Actually, guys, cross over here. We gotta cross. Gee, look at the clock.
Third Wave Coffee, never been? I've actually never been to Pico either. And that's a chain you can find all over the city. There is the iconic Flatiron Building built by the Gooderham and Worts Distillery back in 1892. A very pretty doggy.
I can't see us all stay there to that.
And we're at Berczy Park, which opened back in 1980. It replaced a parking lot that was here before it, believe it or not. There's the Daniel Besant artwork on the back side of the Flatiron Building. And in 2015, the park was closed for a year. And the now iconic dog fountain was put in, featuring 27 dogs and a cat. And I think each of the dogs is a different breed. And there's the cat. But the cat is looking at those birds. And the cute little touch. Not sure what time the J game starts exactly. Let me ask my idiot friend Siri, who is nowhere near as useful as Google Assistant, it seems. Hey Siri, what time is the Blue Jay game? 3:07 p.m. So I'm going to be able to get home with plenty of time to see it. I know tomorrow all the games start at 3:07. That might be the case today as well. Just to prevent teams from knowing the outcomes of other games. It's just a measure to prevent teams starting a game and finding out midway through that it's meaningless. And maybe doing something silly like putting in a position player to pitch or emptying out the bullpen. And we're at Yonge Street. Turn signals are optional on BMWs, of course. So now we're going north on Yonge Street, and I think I'm just going to head up to King Station. All these people can't be lined up for subway. It's probably just a meeting point. And we're at King and Yonge.
Francisco station due to a Toronto police investigation.
Well, that was a bit of a random meander, but I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below if you wish to support what I do. There's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have a seldom updated Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there's a super thanks button appearing below the video as well. I will wait for the next train and be on my way as a southbound train rolls in. And I'm noticing this station doesn't have any screens advising when the next train arrival is. Anywho, hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.